And things that we must do to help those that have fallen weak.
We don't say about that now.
All is solid. You'll do the job of funneling the Persians into the hot gates.
Now these guys, the battle, it was actually 7 days.
No, sire.
But the very first day, they were victorious.
Just past that western bridge.
Second day, they were victorious. By the end of that second day, they were betrayed.
No one step closer.
Just that quick.
Monster. Wise king, I humbly request an audience. I'll kill you where you stand. I gave no such order. Forgive the captain. He is a good soldier, but a bit short on manners. There is nothing to forgive, brave king. I know what I look like. You are the crimson of a Spartan. I am Ephialtes, born of Sparta. My mother's love led my parents to flee Sparta, lest I be discarded. May a shield and armor. My father's son. I beg you, bold king, to permit me to redeem my father's name by serving you in combat. My father trained me to feel no fear, to make spear and shield and sword as much a part of me as my own beating heart. I will earn my father's armor, noble king, by serving you in the battle. Find trust. I will kill many Persians. Raise your shield. Sire. Raise your shield as high as you can. Your father should have told you how our failings work. We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength. Each Spartan protects the man to his left, thigh to neck, with a shield. A single weak spot, and the phalanx shatters. Thigh to neck, Ephialtes. I am sorry, my friend, but not all of us were meant to be soldiers. But if you want to help in a Spartan victory, clear the battlefield of the dead, tend the wounded, bring them water. But as for the fight itself, I cannot use you. Father, you are wrong! You are wrong! Leonidas! You are wrong!
Alright, so did you see that scene? He was letting him know exactly what it took to be a Spartan soldier. And I'm letting you know what it takes to be a strong army at Mount Zion.
Okay, now, let's set on that. If you pay close attention to that also, if you're not aware and cautious of how the snake will play up under you to get to know what they need to know so they can come back around. So if you don't get them what they want, they have something on you to try to say this and that. That's the same thing that happened in the church. If you don't cater to somebody and they feel like you can't cater to them, they want to get up under you to see how you really operate, to see what you're all about, to see if you actually, let's use Pastor Murray, because he don't care. People like to connect themselves to him because of who he is and who he know what he has. But But then when they can't get
That connection.
what he has or get that connection, it becomes a problem. And when the problem becomes, they become CNN out there on Channel 27, spreading lies, how most news channels always do. They don't have the full detail, they just give you what they heard or what they think they know. So therefore, when that comes about, you have to watch the enemy. That's how the enemy does. He can't get in your house unless you open up the gate, because we all got our gates closed. If you have a house, you have a gate, you know what I'm saying, physical standing. The enemy can't get in unless you allow it. So what he just did is pretty much from the beginning, he already had a plot. Just like they had a plot against Jesus, he already had a plot. He plotted to see what he could do. In his mind, he really didn't want to be no soldier of the people. So now he just took what he learned and going to go back and let them know this is how you defeat them.
Well, actually, let me stop you on that. Actually, they did not know he came with the army.
But he has a purpose.
Correct. They did not know he came with that army.
Right.
His parents, if you were listening, so his parents sent him out there. And not only that, the guy, the commander gave him, he still gave him a duty. Even though he told him, no, you're not ready for this war. You cannot fight this war because you're not strong enough. You do not have everything that you need to fight this war. But however, you can still be a part of this war by tending to the wounded, by pulling the dead. So when Reverend tells us to do something, regardless of what the responsibility is, he's holding you accountable. Hey, go tend to the restrooms. Go pick up the papers. And let's not get like this, the humpback guy did. He got very upset because he thought that he was going to be a part of that historical event. But he still could have been a part of that historical event had he took heed to it.
There was a pastor I had agreed to meet in Fort Lauderdale that he came in basically deep in the ministry and I'm up. And he went to seminary school and he did very well. And at the church where he was, they sent him to the bigger church to serve. So when he got to the bigger church to serve, he took his resume and all his accolades and everything that got him. And he was sitting with the pastor and he asked the pastor, what was his duties. And the pastor put him in the parking lot to park cars. The pastor knew what he needed, and he took it. He really took it to heart the wrong way. But he said after he started parking cars, he realized that was what he needed. And this guy, he was a water boy, but still, we need water boys.
Right.
We need all these. We need some other things.
Well, can I ask you?
Yes, sir.
I think the compelling part about this was Leonidas already knew this guy was coming. That wasn't it. But he was trying to give him some kind of value because he knew he had low self-esteem.
That's right.
And when you're in leadership, a lot of times you have to allow people to express themselves, even though you know that what they desire, they cannot hold. But you have to allow them to get it out. So what he did was, he took his number one guy, who was straight up, and said, give me a minute with him. He already knew what this guy was asking. He already knew the setup. He already knew his background. Because that was Leonidas' job to know everything that went on in that city. So he already knew that he knew his father, he knew his mother, he already knew the setup. But what was critical about it was, he said to him, raise your shield. Had he been able to raise the shield, it would have been no question he'd had a position.
That's right.
A lot of times what we fall short is, when God is, if you're asking for an audience with God, for him to allow you to do something, and God says, okay, well, you're going to have to do this for that to happen, and you can't do it or you're not willing to do it, then why are you upset with God? So it's no different in church. If you come to me and say, well, Pastor, you know what, I want to do this event. Okay, are you prepared to come here early, stay late, line it up, get the people together, and all that? Now, I'll just bring it to your attention so you can go ahead and do it. That's a chink in the armor. That's asking That's asking the line to do something that the line is not designed to do. I can't play general, if you will, and foot soldier.
No.
Because there's too much to observe from the site that he have to sit and see. If I'm in the lead, I can't go back to make sure everybody got a sword, everybody got a spear. We all individually have to look out for one another. So for that part right there, that just shows you how even when you try to help somebody to be better, they can still refuse the help because it's not the help. It's not that the help wasn't right.
No.
It wasn't the help he wanted.
No.
He wanted what he wanted, no matter what.
And since we're talking about the church and how it operates, you know, it's like as ministers and different things like that of the gospel. I was serving with a gentleman, and his number wasn't called, and he wanted to preach. All he wanted to do was preach. But at the same time, he wasn't serving, he wasn't really sowing, but he wanted to preach. So when it came to elevations, everyone else around him was being elevated, but him. He didn't understand why he wasn't being elevated. So the thing that he did was, I'm going to leave. So he ran to another church, and the same thing happened. And so you have to ask yourself, if every place I'm going, I'm leaving everywhere I'm going. It can't be the people. It can't be the person. Somewhere along the line, you got to look at your own self and say, what are you doing? When I came to this thing, I was rough. I wasn't fit. I was rough. So what I said was, I just want to serve because I wanted a change in my life. I was the one that, if you look crossways, you'll find your head over there. I was rough. I wanted a change.
That's right.
And so I know the only way I can get my change, I had to serve. And I was willing to be the bus driver. I was willing to come and clean the vans every week. I was willing to put gas in the vans. I was willing to go pick the mothers up, the kids up. I was willing to do everything I needed to do to be a servant. Preaching was the last thing was on my mind. I just wanted to serve because I know if I serve God, God would make room. And that's the thing. I was sold out to serving. I didn't want to do nothing else but serve. I didn't care what it was, who it was. If my pastor said, Palmer, this is what I need you to do, I was doing it. I was serving. I said, look, we used to fill the vans up with our own money. We didn't allow him to give us the money to fill the church vans up. That's how sold out I was on serving. And I think that's our job when we have to hold the line. And we have to understand what it means to hold the line for our leader. Our leader goes through a whole lot. But if we keep getting off the line, it makes us out of position. Then he got to come back and say, look, well, I need you here, man. When we already know our place. When we already know what we have to do. And so we can't get off the line because we wasn't called to preach yet.
That's right.
If you hold the line long enough, your gifts will make room for you.
That's right.
And I think that's the thing. We want to utilize our gifts before it's time. And that's where you go wrong because you think that I'm ready. When you're not ready, all you got to do is listen and serve and listen and serve and listen and serve. And then you understand because God's going to give it to the head to say, okay, Pastor, I think he's ready.
Wow.
But a lot of times we don't wait for that call.
Anxious. All right. So we need to help our fellow man. Let's go to Romans 15:1. Somebody read that for me.
We who are strong ought to bear with the faults of the weak and not to please ourselves.
We who are strong. That's the ones that are rooted in the Word of God. That's the ones that are fasting and praying. That's the one that is fasting and praying for our leader and his household. Those are and not only that, those are our intercessors. Those are our archers. Those that are strong. What else it says?
Ought to bear with the faults of the weak and not to please ourselves.
All right, can I have 4 volunteers real quick? 4 volunteers. Nope, Reverend, you in the middle, please. I need 4 volunteers. Lock arms. Nope, Reverend, you're in the middle. No, sir. All right, I need one more. I need on week 1. even though he's on the line. He's on the line. Can somebody read that word again? 15:1.
Now we
Thank you, Jesus.
who are strong in
We who
our
are strong.
convictions and faith ought to patiently put up with the weaknesses of those who are not strong,
All right, so
and not just please ourselves.
So no matter what's going on, so if the enemy is starting to attack us, and he's pushing, and this weak one, we're going to put him in the middle with Reverend. So those that are strong are continuing to pray, and our archers, which is the intercessors, are making sure no one comes no closer than this. The more they hold the line, the more that Reverend is reviving, rejuvenating, replenishing our weak. Once he's revived, rejuvenated, replenished, Reverend can push him back on the line. and Reverend can say, hold the line.
Hold the line.
The more the archers pray and fast, the more the intercessors pray and fast, the enemy we cannot be moved. We cannot be moved. That repowers him because he gets to save his energy to preach the word of God. Thank you.
Thank you. And she's strong too.
I was pushing you down. I was trying to hold the line.
Pushing Lisa Leslie.
Hey, can I add something to that? The other day I was in Dollar General. I ain't gonna say who it was. I'm not gonna say their name.
That's all right.
But they a member here. And it was early, I get off from work about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I walk in the store and they in the store shopping. I said, let me ask you something. How you can't come to church, but you can get up and go to work? See, we fail to realize that God give us all this strength and he give us our free will. I don't care if you got to pay your bills or not. If God say, tell them people, you leaving that job, you ain't got that job no more, what you gonna do? But we'll rather, that's why I said, we'll rather break our neck for these people for 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, whatever it is, but you can't come to the house and get a rejuvenation and get some energy from a man that has died on the cross for you, that has given you the option. And I'm looking at you, I'm like, okay, ain't nothing wrong with you. What was wrong with you yesterday? And they didn't get upset. They just said, I said, okay, never mind, because they're coming to well. That means, and where we at is accountability. Let them know that somebody care about you. You can't just keep taking a Sunday off here, Sunday off there, because suppose you take off a Sunday here, and somebody that needs to see you come here, you ain't here.